Hey guys, it's Infidel 1258 here. Today I'm going to go market hunting. I'm smelling blood in the water and I want to take advantage, and I think you should too. So let's go into the marketplace and we'll see what we see, and we'll spend some DEC. We're going to have to burn some SPS too, quite a bit of it, I think. Let's get into it. Okay, so we'll come over to Peak Monsters. One of the things I've been strongly considering is like, how do we find valuation? Because I think there's so many cheap cards actually in Conclave. There's value everywhere, and no one really knows what's going to be the meta. No one really knows what's going to be the creme de la creme. And there are some preliminary presumptions, like summoners are obviously going to be impactful. Legendaries, epics, yes, we get it. Maybe commons or rares are going to be less exceptional because of these starter packs that are available. All that said, it's confusing. A moment like this is like there's this stirring of the pot, and we are left wondering where is the real opportunity? Where is the thing that's going to catch? Is there going to be a Grimbarden Smith or a Mantaroth card that just pulls away, a Venka that pulls away as a leader in terms of the meta, the impact, the usefulness, the functionality? Is it going to redefine rank rewards or guild brawl battles, or, and if so, does that value charge forward from a place that is relatively innocuous or, minor? 8 cents for some of these commons, 6 cents for some of these commons. Is that a smoking deal? I kind of think not, because of the starter pack. So I'm not even really looking at commons or rares at this moment, unless guess what? They're black or they're gold or they're arcane foil. And that's the conversation I really want to have in this video. Where are there some opportunities that are just crazy? Let's look at the market and see what's out there. It's possible in the middle of a moment like this, somebody goes and gets a black foil arcane, and says to themselves, "I'd rather have $1,000 than a quality card." I think $1,500 for a black foil arcane. I get the feeling some of the black foils could be $1,000. And so my immediate thought when I look at a card like this, a rare $1,500 for Flamunculus, is actually that it's probably worth more. But I don't love this card. It's a 2 mana with 1 archer and 2 melee. It's got the close range, but who cares with the 1 damage for the 1 archery? Like, it's not that big a deal. It's got the poison burst. I think that's what that is. And so that's, interesting. When it dies, it's gonna hurt its opponent. All for 2 mana, sure, that's interesting, but I just don't, the utility and the functionality of that card don't jump out at me as massively appealing. And so even if that is a price tag that might well be, in the months or the years to come, a laughably low price, that's my presumption, that's my prediction, that's my feeling. I don't really care. I don't want to bet on things that I think are going to appreciate. I want to bet on things I think are going to appreciate, but that also have in-game utility that I love to hold, irrespective of whether it appreciates. Do you see what I mean? If you can align your investments and your dollars within Splinterlands to buy and find the value that is functional for you today, that you're willing to hold for the long term, and that can provide benefit for you along the way, trivial though it may be on a daily basis, that's where that sort of middle ground, that perfect middle ground, come together, where you're not just planning for today, but you're planning for 5 years from now. And as I look at the page and talk to you guys, I see Aerial Shield Maiden, and this is actually a card I think is probably going to be meta. It's got the armor strike with the opportunity, meaning a 4-bomb opportunity armor strike, as well as a 4-bomb archery. So it's a double striking monster, 2 attacks for 8 mana. That seems reasonable. 8 hit points is not small. Plus 4 armor. Again, that's part of, when that breaks, you lose one of your attacks. So you don't want that to break, but that's a good 12 hit points is good hit points. 3 speed is not fast, but it's not slow. Flight is great because it adds a 25% chance to avoid. There's only one of these cards. There's literally only one of them, and it's available. There's only one of these cards in the game, and it's being sold for $1,500. And I just made a quick argument for why I think this card's going to be meta. I actually think that. I said that in the video before talking about this one. It was one of my favorites, Aerial Shield Maiden. I actually think that. So I could probably, if $1,500 was attainable, I could really logically make an argument for myself as to why I should pull the trigger on something like this. I should make this happen. for all those reasons. Opportunity, and I didn't even talk about EMP, Elias Max Pruitt, and how it would work really well with this card. I think Armor Strike and EMP are going to get a real buff. Plus, this could go really well with Blast in conjunction with Nidhogger, or Execute with Nidhogger. So love this card. And $1,500 seems, I think, long term for that collectible, for that 1 of 1, sounds pretty appetizing. Now, that number is ludicrous to many of us. $1,500 on one card is crazy. But again, I believe in this game long term. This isn't just about today's functionality. If I want today's functionality, I could spend $1,500 on a variety of cards, on a multitude of cards that would give me more functionality than one single card. This is about having a 1 of 1 that has the collectability, that has the functionality. Yes, it would help me, and there's that daily sort of driver piece, but there's also the long-term investment sort of side of that conversation. And a 1 of 1 that I happen to believe is meta. Could I be wrong about my analysis of its functionality in game? Yeah, maybe it ends up not being as impactful as I just implied. But this is how your brain has to work if you're going to assess some of these values, because truly there is no comparable for a card like this. There is no comparable for a Black Foil Arcane. And yet I think that's the stirring of the pot I talked about. There's this system of money within Splinterlands. There's this ecosystem of players, and they're buying and they're selling, and they're trying to figure out what is the value of a thing too. The guy who listed it for $1,500, it's like, I don't know. I mean, that sounds fair, I guess. And he doesn't know. And you don't know, and I don't know. The question is, what is he willing to sell it for, and what am I willing to pay for it? I actually would be on the fence about paying $1,500 for a card like that. And I think in 5 years, if Splinterlands goes where I believe it will go, that will be a laughably low price. If Splinterlands goes where I believe it will go. Now, I'm not actually here to feature Aerial Shieldmaiden because I actually see the other opportunities out there. I want to look at some of these black foils. Let's look at some of the black foils. We'll go down the chart a little bit. $1.50 for Stampeding Calf. I said previously, if these common black foils get under $100, that's got to be a buy. And I think we're going to slowly see more and more of them get released, and we're going to see people who ripped them and didn't really expect it. You just bought a $4 pack and you were thinking, wow, I'm just going to get 5 cards and maybe I'll get a legendary. That'd be cool. And then you ripped the Stampeding Calf black foil and you lost your mind, and you go, $150 just came out of it. And so Buddy might have listed it thinking that exact thing. Like he undercut the other guy by $30. That's not a small undercut. This buddy's eager to sell. And so my point is, these prices might come down more. I'm not saying that 150 is a good deal. That's a separate conversation. You'd really have to do a deep dive on every single card, its in-game utility, your long-term perspective on the game, as well as your function, your control or willingness to hold on to something like this for months and years, not days and weeks. But 150, I honestly think $100 on any black foil is a buy. Period. Don't care about its in-game utility because that price point is just too low, in my opinion. We will see if the community agrees with me. If there can be more sellers than there are buyers, and then that will genuinely prove me wrong. That's the market answer. That'll be the market answer. We will see together. But I'm not surprised to see within 24 hours the floor on the common black foils has gone from 200 to 150. And I have a Silverleaf Warlock, and I have a Bristleborn Brigand. And I wouldn't sell those for $170 or $160 respectively. I think they're quality cards. Like, look at this combo: Swiftness, Dispel, and Blind. That's a nice synergy. I don't love the damage output or the hit points, but I love the fullness of the kit for, yeah. And it's a black foil I have. That's crazy. 400 BCX in one card. Bristleborn Brigand I feel less cool about, and but I still wouldn't sell it for $180. $500. In my mind, pry them from my hands or give me $500. And I know that there are going to be dozens of people. Like, look, there are 39 copies of the Silverleaf Warlock. There might be 2 dozen people, maybe 3 dozen people that say, oh, get rid of it. Get rid of it. I want a few $100 back. I want $100 back. That's what happens. You paid $4 for a pack. You ripped one of these black foils, and some people are going to want that little bit of cash back because they want to go do it again. They want to play again. They want to grab another pack, or it's life-changing money. 150, 170 bucks might be life-changing money for some players. And that's awesome. I love that that ecosystem is possible, and that sort of opportunity. This ecosystem can be so diverse in terms of the players that are in it, that 150 or 170 bucks might change your life, and to me be a no on the sale value. But that's where we are at. That's where why a game like this is so cool. And but yeah, to me, honestly, 500 bucks, I wouldn't on these comments. And I did get 2 rares as well on the black foils, and I personally have listed mine, a Swiftbeard Stout as well as a Silverleaf Ranger. I don't know. Maybe they sell, maybe they don't. Look, my Swiftbeard Stout is not gonna sell because I'm not the cheapest one here. But I think this card's better than maybe the person is the cheapest buying. This actually, like, I could see myself buying this one just to soak up liquidity. Like, honestly, okay, so here's a conversation. I have a Swiftbeard Stout, and I think this card is awesome, and I think it will be meta with the taunt as well as the Bloodline Tribute. That combo is nice. Plus, you can put Resurrects to really activate that more than once. Plus, this is a dwarf, and we know that there's a dwarf summoner, and that dwarf summoner is going to be able to pull in a bunch of dwarves. I can picture a team of dwarves, a 6-pack of dwarves, of little bearded beasts coming at you, and being bloodline buffed by the buddy here. With 1 Resurrect, that becomes twice, and with that taunt, I mean, in my opinion, this is a great little kit. For a rare, this is an exceptional card. I think that for $4.95 is a deal. I know that in prior conversations with myself and Gathering the Magic, we talked about rares, and actually with myself and Jeff Opens Cards, we talked about rares probably being, 300 bucks. But this to me is an exceptional rare. So I actually think $4.95 is going to prove to be a deal. I don't know that I'm going to buy it, but I think this is a conversation. Like this to me is actually a real strong conversation. Plus, because I own one of them, I could begin. There's only 12 of these things, guys. You can corner the market and be like, by the way, if anybody wants a Swiftbeard, it's me. It's like you're talking to me. I'm the Swiftbeard guy. Like Matt Two Castles Clark does this with the Clay Golem. So, I love that. I love that idea. So I could genuinely do that, and I would love that, and I might do that, by the way. So we'll see. But black foils, I think there's some deals. And I think, again, this is the stirring of the pot. The ecosystem only has so much money, and people, they don't necessarily know what they're holding, and they sell it for undervaluation. They lower the price because they're happy to take 150, but then, or 495, and then somebody's happy to buy it and sell it for 1,000. Like that's what happens at garage sales. That's what happens at flea markets. That's what happens on eBay. This is the marketplace, or the game within the game of Splinterlands. And that's why it's not just an auto brawler video game where you're playing my collectible card game versus your collectible card game. It's also this sort of nuanced economics game where you need to understand price versus value. And so, yeah, that's interesting. But then, for $4.95, you could get 1 rare card, or over here, I can actually see a summoner. And, $6.95. Is that worth it? Maybe. Look at that differential. The next one's $3,000. There's only 12 of this one, and it's a summoner. It's a max summoner. And so one quick question on that would be like, what would it be a Gorgug at the end list on the gold foil? I bet it's, $500. Let's look at that quickly. I don't want this to be a deep dive on any one card, but if I wanted 22 copies of this, I could pay $250 to get a gold foil max Gorgug. Is $250 a good deal? I don't know. What I'm trying to establish is that if you compare that to the black foil price point of $6.94, it's 3x the valuation. I thought the price points, or the price differential between gold foil and black foil would be 2 to 5 times. And, that's in that range. So I think this is probably in the right range of valuations, or the gold foils is underpriced. I think it's in the right range though. $6.95 is kind of not exactly a deal per se, but there are only 12 of those. So that's the other side of it too. You got to know that there are certain people that want to collect every black foil. And this to me feels like a reasonable price. Some of these are you know, prior for my cold dead hand prices, and that's okay. Good for them. I love that they can list at those levels. If the game goes up in valuation in terms of player base growth, you know, those higher numbers won't be as crazy as you think, because SPS will go up at the same time, and that's where things start to. It's like this, not snowball, because that's like a downhill metaphor. It's like this rocket taking off, like the speed goes up exponentially as it gets closer and closer to outside of our atmosphere. And that's the moon mission, guys. So anyways, let's move toward the end of the video, but we're going to look now at the black foil arcanes. No, sorry. Is it the black foil arcanes I want to look at? No, I want to look at the gold foil arcanes. I already looked at black foils and black foils. Gold arcane cards. These are max level. They've got this cool shimmer and shine look, and they're exceedingly rare. They're exceedingly rare. The cheapest of them is this Mad Kaboomist which I don't even know if I've ever seen before. Snipe, 3 magic, Divine Shield, Reveal, and Affliction. Interesting kit for $400. Don't know if I love it, but I think $400 for an amazing magic monster is interesting and possible, and it's a max level too. That doesn't necessarily feel expensive. This feels like it could have been a legendary card in a different set. Like this doesn't look entirely. This kind of reminds me of Dr. Blight in some ways. It's got more magic damage, greater hit points. It doesn't have the scavenge. It doesn't have the poison. It's got the Divine Shield. The reveal is going to be important, I think. See, how do we measure the valuation of reveal? I don't know if we fully get this stuff yet. Mystic Mudbinder, another common for 421. It's got the Void Armor with the Armor Strike at the 6. This is a big hitter with the 3 magic and the 6 Armor Strike with Oppressed, by the way, which again is going to continue to be really powerful in the Conclave meta, because there's a lot of weapons trains, there's a lot of non-attacking monsters, and they will be oppressed. The heal is interesting, but I don't know how meaningful that's ultimately going to be. With 7 hit points, it would only be a 2 heal. This is a strong card. 421 is a maybe. I don't just want to buy these cards because they're like maybe good value though. As I look at these, Silverleaf, I've got them Black Foil of You. Boring Hobgoblin, interesting with the 5 and the 3 and the silence. I like all that. Interesting, but no. 700, look at the price escalations. Ashen Cindergrim, 845. Interesting card with the Painforge and the Dwarf, and the Opportunity and the Silence. All of that is interesting, but 845, we're escalating rapidly. We're still in the comments. Cavewise Wayfinder, 850. The 4. This has got like a good number of hit points, and I like the Ambush and the Reckless too. I said in a video, I like this card more from a melee, from any position perspective, than I do from a frontline tank perspective. Put that in the second spot, surrounded by 2 Painforge monsters, and allow it to reach, right? A flank could do that too, by the way. So either a flank or and so then you're enabling this Reckless to do more impact, which rocks more Painforge, which causes more, growth of output. And so interesting card, but again, 850. Here we are still in common, Step Stalker for 1,500. Check this out. This is why I wanted to grab this video. We have an Umbral Elemental priced for $850 US, and there is one of them. There is only one of them. This is the only one of it. This feels crazy, but I think I need to buy this. It's one of one, and in my opinion, $1,000 for a black foil legendary makes sense. Of a black foil. Now, of a gold foil arcane, I don't know. I don't even know what price to put on these ones, but I think more. I think this might be worth $2,000 to $5,000. And I think that I'm not saying that'll flip. Flip meaning sell quickly and turn around, but I'm actually going to do this. Because here's the deal. If I was to hold on to SPS and translate SPS into, I'm expecting SPS appreciation. If it goes from 1 cent to 10 cents, that's a 10x. I think this card, see, this is where it gets tricky. If you're selling one asset, SPS, to buy another asset, a card, it's probably true that my SPS could do 10 cents, which is a 10x. And I don't know that my Umbral is going to go from 850 to 8,050. But again, it's one of one. That is the collectability side is so interesting to me. I think I need to do this. I think I believe in this game so much, and I could just buy another 100,000 SPS. This is the other part of this. Like the SPS is not limited. The cards are. Let's go convert. Let's see what would happen here if I go 98, 306, 98, 306.869. That would give me 1.129 SPS, or DEC rather. And you're going to cost, you know what? And I'm burning it too, by the way. We're burning 100,000 SPS. I burnt more than this, by the way. I burnt probably 200,000 SPS so far. I don't care about the differential. I want this SPS gone. I would rather eat the 5% loss on the market right there. Like market SPS burned, I'm getting 995 DEC instead of, I could get 1,000. I could get 1,000 per. I don't care. I want to see the SPS gone. And now I've got my DEC and I'm buying a one-of-one card that no one else can have. This game is amazing. I believe in the future. This is crazy that this is available. I actually like this card too. I didn't even talk about that. The Umbral Elemental. I talked about in a video how I think this would be a really special card. Magic only, powerful. Magic only rule sets certainly going to be very powerful, but it's also got Void, which makes it more resilient. The taunt is interesting, especially when you recognize that the Flex Shroud is going to diminish any sort of blast that's coming at you. That is the single most expensive card I've bought in Splinterlands ever. It's a one of one. It's a one of one. How can I, there's no way to price that. And if I believe in the future and I think it's a quality card and I believe in the airdrop points and I think all of that full conversation together, that's what this game is amazing. This game is amazing and the chase is real. Let me leave it at that, guys. Have an amazing day. God bless.